Welcome to Factual America, where we dig deeper to uncover the truth behind the headlines. If you've been shopping in any major supermarket or scrolling social media lately, you've probably noticed an explosion of plant-based meat alternatives. From sizzling burger patties to chicken-free nuggets, these products are everywhere, plastered on billboards, featured in commercials, even promoted by celebrities and athletes. But have you ever stopped to ask, why? What's really behind the relentless push for plant-based meats? Is it truly about saving the planet, your health, or is there something else at play? Buckle up because today we're peeling back the packaging to reveal the real reason they're pushing plant-based meat. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is plant-based meat? We're not talking about a veggie burger made at home from beans and grains. We're talking about highly processed products engineered to taste, look, and even bleed like real meat. Companies like Beyond Meat, Impossible Foods, and even gigantic corporations like Tyson Foods and Nestle have jumped on this bandwagon, investing billions to bring these products to your plate. These aren't just niche brands catering to vegans. These are industry heavyweights betting big money on shifting how America eats. But why the big interest all of a sudden? To answer this, let's look at who's bankrolling the plant-based revolution. Surprise, it's not just progressive foodies and animal rights activists. Some of the world's largest investment firms, including BlackRock and Vanguard, are major shareholders in top plant-based meat companies. Even Bill Gates, known for his tech billions, has poured millions into these ventures. It begs the question, since when did global financiers and billionaire elites care so much about what you eat for dinner? Of course, the narrative we hear is that plant-based meat is a savior for the climate and our health. Reducing animal agriculture, we're told, is key to fighting climate change, saving water, preserving rainforests, and even lowering cholesterol. Mainstream media, global organizations like the United Nations, and some governments repeat these talking points. And don't get me wrong, there are some legitimate concerns about factory farming and its impact. But is plant-based meat the silver bullet solution we're being sold? Here's something they don't talk about. Plant-based meats are ultra-processed foods. Flip over the package and read the long list of ingredients: pea protein isolates, soy leg hemoglobin, methyl cellulose, modified food starch, canola oil, artificial flavors, the list goes on. These are not simple, whole foods, but industrial creations crafted in labs and factories. And you're supposed to believe this is the healthier option? Recent studies show that diets high in ultra-processed foods are linked to obesity, metabolic syndrome, and a host of chronic diseases. Yet, plant-based meat companies market their products as healthier alternatives, glossing over the inconvenient details. This isn't about delivering you better nutrition. This is about cornering a new, highly profitable market. Let's talk about the money for a minute. The global meat market is worth over $1 trillion. Even capturing a small slice of that market spells astronomical profit for investors. With margins in processed food typically higher than whole foods, plant-based meat represents a goldmine for food conglomerates. Unlike the local rancher raising cattle for decades, these corporations can patent their recipes, control production, and brand themselves as climate heroes. Layer on top of that the power of narrative. We live in an age where perception is often more important than reality. Food giants have learned to hijack popular causes, climate change, animal welfare, social justice, to sell you a product. Notice how plant-based burgers aren't just marketed for taste, but for being good for the planet, cruelty-free, the ethical choice. It's a masterstroke in marketing psychology. Make you feel guilty for eating regular meat and heroic for eating their product. But let's pull back the curtain even further. The push isn't organic, pardon the pun. It's often propelled by legislation and policy. We're seeing government-backed programs, subsidies, and even attempts at regulations that make it harder for traditional ranchers and farmers to compete. In some European countries, there are moves to restrict advertising of real meat to children while promoting plant-based alternatives. In the US, federal grants are flowing into the alternative protein space, nudging companies and universities into developing ever-newer fake meats. Here's where things get wild. Some world leaders and global organizations have openly suggested a meat tax to discourage you from eating beef or pork. What would this really do? Drive up prices for working and middle-class Americans while opening the door for subsidized, processed alternatives, the very products the elites have stakes in. Suddenly, trying to grill up some burgers for your family barbecue becomes a costly luxury, while the lab-grown patty on sale is presented as the responsible, affordable option. Now let's touch on another crucial element: control. Plant-based meats, especially those containing novel ingredients and genetically modified proteins, are eligible for patents and intellectual property rights. Unlike raising a cow or growing beans, these patented foods give corporations an unprecedented level of control over the food supply. Who owns the recipe for your burger today and your chicken tomorrow? Not the farmer, not your local grocery co-op, but multinational giants. Remember the old phrase, "You are what you eat"? If you eat what only a handful of tech companies manufacture and own, what happens to food independence? To local economies? Do Americans really want a future where our meals are designed, produced, and distributed by the same companies that control our social media, finances, and increasingly, our personal data? Let's say you care about the environment, fine. But is replacing one industrial food process with another really the answer? Remember, producing plant-based meats still requires vast amounts of monocropped soy, peas, or wheat grown using fertilizers, pesticides, and massive amounts of water. These crops displace biodiversity, deplete soil, and contribute to the same industrial agricultural problems we're purportedly solving. Ironically, many sustainable ranches and traditional farms use rotational grazing, promote soil health, and contribute to local ecological balance. In some cases, livestock farming, when done responsibly, can actually sequester carbon and improve the land. But try finding that perspective in the marketing brochures from Big Food or the headlines in mainstream media. Let's talk about health claims. Plant-based meat companies parade around with labels like no cholesterol and lower saturated fat. What they don't highlight is that many plant-based burgers are packed with sodium, industrial oils, and synthetic additives. In fact, some plant-based meats have nearly double the sodium of a regular beef patty. Where are the long-term health studies? The answer: they don't exist yet. In a decade, will we look back on this era and wonder, did we fall for another food pyramid blunder? Now, you might be wondering, is it all a conspiracy? Not necessarily, but it is a coordinated effort by big money, tech, and certain policymakers to reshape the way we eat under the guise of progress, health, and saving the planet. And like many solutions handed down from on high, it's about centralizing power and profit at the expense of choice and tradition. Meanwhile, the marketing machine works over time to make questioning these trends appear regressive or even dangerous. Try raising concerns about ultra-processed plant-based foods in polite conversation, and you risk being labeled outdated, anti-environment, or even a conspiracy theorist. That's not science. That's social engineering. Let's also not forget the cultural implications. America's food traditions, from backyard barbecues to Thanksgiving tables, are being redefined from the top down. These new foods are designed to replace the real thing, not supplement it. And you, the consumer, are never really asked. It's about shaping your habits and your tastes to fit someone else's bottom line. But here's the twist: they can only succeed if we let them. At the end of the day, the power doesn't just rest in boardrooms or government offices. It's in the hands of each of us. Every time we choose what to buy, whom to trust, and what kind of world we want our families to inherit. That's why open discussion and critical thinking are absolutely essential. Don't let corporate marketing or political slogans do your thinking for you. So the next time you see an ad for the latest miracle burger or a politician talking about banning real meat, ask yourself, who really benefits from the plant-based revolution? Is it you, or is it the people selling you the revolution? To wrap things up, the real reason they're pushing plant-based meat isn't just about your waistline or the weather. It's about a historic shift in control, profit, and influence over what America eats. There are real concerns about conventional agriculture, but swapping one industrial solution for another, less proven, less transparent one, is not the open and shut answer we're being told. Now, we want to hear from you. What do you think about the push for plant-based meats? Do you feel like you're being pressured by media, corporations, or even politicians? Are you concerned about health, environment, or just want honest choices? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to tell us what other controversial topics you want Factual America to tackle next. If you found value in this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves a good debate. Until next time, keep searching for the facts behind the food.